A second to adjourn the original meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Henry. And Jerry?
I voted.
Jerry?
Probably got her mute on.
Yeah, she has her mute on.
Unanimous in favor of?
All right, thank you very much. Now we will jump right in, since we're running a little bit late, we'll jump right into our second meeting with the new city council. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, everyone.
Good luck, Rob. Around the front and shake on the way out. Or- It's up to you.
Thank you, Ralph.
I'll ask Mike to come up.
Kept it warm.
Okay, now we have our new city council at hand here. So with that said, we will start our second agenda for the city council meeting. This is the November 8th, 2021 city council meeting for the city of Lamar. I'm Mayor Kirk Crespin. This is our new city council. So I'd like to welcome Mike Bellamy to the city council as well. First off, we have the invocation with Christina Walker.
Let's pray. Lord, we're thankful to meet here tonight. Let the business of the city happen well. Let those who are making decisions discern well. And we are grateful to be in the presence of those willing to serve another term or serve in a new position and be able to serve this community well. Help all those in this room remain connected to community, connected to not only the decisions of the city, but the rhythms of the city and how the spaces and places are seeking and learning and growing. Lord, we ask you to continue to guide each person's decisions tonight. Amen.
Amen. Mike, would you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the time is now 7:44. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Joe Gonzalez,
Here.
Mike Bellamy,
Here.
Jerry Jenkins,
Here.
Barely
Kirk
here.
Crespin,
Here.
Oscar Riley,
Here.
Manuel Temez,
Here.
Anthony Crampton. Here. Rob Evans,
Present.
Kristen McCray,
Here.
Lance Clark.
Here.
Okay. First item on the agenda tonight is the oath of office with our new city council members as well as the mayor. So we'll start off. Do we have Judge Porter here? Okay. Council members that are newly elected, would you like to start?
Do you want to do them one at a time?
Sure, probably. Or do you want to all come up and line up? Would be the best way if you want to line up and have one of them come up. I think there's 3 that are renewing and then 1 that's brand new, right?
We'll start with Mr. Riley. Okay. All right, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Oscar Riley, do solemnly swear by the ever-living God. I, Oscar Riley, do solemnly swear by the ever-living God, that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America. That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America. And the state of Colorado. And the state of Colorado. And the charter of the city of Lamar, Colorado. And the charter of the city of Lamar, Colorado. And will faithfully perform the duties. And will faithfully perform the duties. Of the office of council member Ward 2. Of the office of council member Ward 2. Sign your copy there. Here.
My legal name is Gerald, and that's what I signed.
Okay, well, congratulations. You, Mr. Temez? Okay. All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I, Manuel Temez, do solemnly swear by the ever-living God
I, Manuel Smith, solemnly swear by the ever-living God
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Colorado
and the state of Colorado
and the charter of the city of Lamar, Colorado,
and the charter of the city of Lamar, Colorado,
and will faithfully perform the duties
and will faithfully perform the duties
of the office of council member, Ward 1.
of the office of council member, Ward 1.
Congratulations.
Is your family here with you?
Yes.
If you want to call them up, you're welcome to. With you.
Congratulations.
Okay. Good thing. Good.
That's it. Yeah. Mr. Gonzalez? I, Joe Gonzalez, do solemnly swear by the ever-living God
I, Joe Gonzalez, do solemnly swear by the ever-living God
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Colorado
and the state of Colorado
and the charter of the city of Lamar, Colorado,
and the charter of the city of Lamar, Colorado,
and will faithfully perform the duties
and will faithfully perform the duties
of the office of council member, Ward 3.
of the office of council member, Ward 3.
And Mike, you're welcome to invite your family up if you like as well.
Way too big a hurt.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I mentioned it to you.
Please raise your right hand. I, Mike Bellamy, do solemnly swear by the ever-living God,
I, Mike Bellamy, do swear.
do solemnly swear by the ever-living God
By the ever-living God,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Colorado
and the state of Colorado
and the charter of the city of Lamar, Colorado,
and the charter of the city of Lamar, Colorado,
and will faithfully perform the duties
and will faithfully defend the duties
of the office of council member, Ward 3.
of the office of council member, Ward 3.
Congratulations. Let it sign there. Okay, ready? Please raise your right hand. I, Kirk Crespin, do solemnly swear by the ever-living God
I, Kurt Preston, do solemnly swear by the ever-living God
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Colorado
and the state of Colorado
and the charter of the city of Lamar, Colorado,
and the charter of the city of Lamar, Colorado,
and will faithfully perform the duties
and will faithfully perform the duties
of the office of mayor at large.
of the office of mayor at large.
Sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay. All right, thank you very much for your patience and welcome to our new city council. Okay, we'll move on with the meeting as needed here. Next item on the agenda is the election of the mayor pro tem. The mayor pro tem is basically the vice mayor. The mayor pro tem is basically the vice mayor. So in the event that the mayor is gone, the mayor pro tem would step in as needed. So this would be elected by the city council. So do we have any nominations for mayor pro tem?
I nominate Anne Marie
I'll
Crampton.
Jerry said she seconded.
Yes.
So we have a motion and a second to nominate Anne Marie Crampton. Are there any other nominations? Okay, seeing none.
Do you want to make an announcement that it didn't pull in Mike's name?
Oh, so there was a technical error. We didn't have the change of the name for Rafael Rodriguez to Mike Bellamy yet.
It
So
didn't.
sorry, it didn't keep it, the change, but we'll get that corrected. So with that said, we have a motion and a second to nominate
Anne Marie.
Anne Marie Crampton for Mayor Pro Tem. Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Press the button, same time. Opposed, same sign,
Marie.
and Anne Marie would abstain.
Unanimous in favor of?
With
Okay,
Anne Marie abstaining.
with Anne Marie abstaining.
Sorry, with Councilmember Crampton abstaining.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is designation of banks for the city funds.
So in the packet, it shows that the city of Lamar is authorized to utilize Girard National Bank, Frontier Bank, TBK Bank, Community State Bank, Legacy Bank for deposits of city funds. Additionally, the city has passed resolutions which allow for the deposit of funds with Edward Jones, Solo Trust, and C-Safe.
Okay. We can amend those, or we can continue to keep them the same. What is the council's pleasure?
I move we keep those the same.
Second.
Okay, we will approve the continued use. A motion and a second. Are there any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Barely hear Jerry. She's like really, really quiet.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, the next item on the agenda is authorization for check signing. The council has authorized the mayor and the mayor pro tem to sign checks for the city of Lamar. With the new mayor and the mayor pro tem, we would need to reauthorize them. The city clerk, the city treasurer, all to sign checks for the city of Lamar, with the exception of Lamar Light and Power accounts. That signature will be determined by Lamar Utility Board.
Make a motion to call it.
Authorize mayor pro.
Yeah, authorize the mayor pro tem clerk treasurer to sign checks for the city of Lamar. I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to authorize as stated. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Jerry?
Aye.
Unanimous in favor of?
All right. Next item on the agenda is audience participation. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject that does not appear on the agenda. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and it would be at the discretion of the council. Is there anybody that would like to speak to the city council tonight that's on a topic that's not on the agenda? Anybody? Okay, seeing none, we will move forward with the agenda then. Next item would be city administrator report. How do we have a new city administrator? Rob?
Hello. I guess first, wanted to say thank you for allowing me to be here. This is my first one, and it will be, more detailed later, but I'm having a good time right now. Let's see. The first item, number one, is Lamar Community College Art, Craft, and Food Festival. Saturday, November 13th at the LCC Wellness Center, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Do we want to say any more information on that, maybe, Anne Marie?
Usually there's about 55 to 60 booths. Great time.
All right.
Time to get in the holiday mood.
The food part. All right. Tri-State 9/11 Veterans Day Program, Thursday, November 11th, 2021, 11 a.m. at a veterans section at the Fairmount Cemetery. There's a schedule attached here, and we'll have it available up at the city, and I'm sure that we have it on our website. If we do not, we'll get it up there. So come on out there and support the veterans. Number 3, Tourism Training Restart Destinations Program. Thursday, November 18th at 2021 at the First Baptist Church at Fellowship Hall, 1600 South Main Street. There's also a flyer attached, and we will have that available as well. Let's see. Oh, announcement. We will have the city offices closed on Thanksgiving holiday, Thursday and Friday, November 25th and 26th. And I guess we wanted to bring up the scheduling of council socials. I guess it's something that you guys have done in the past, and I don't know if it has stopped recently, or did you guys want to talk about that or take this as a chance to schedule a new one?
So we had, in the past, we used to do the council breakfasts. With the limited amount of participation, we ended up trying to do, over this past summer, we ended up trying to do council a picnic. We've tried to do a luncheon. We've tried to do, this past month, we did a hors d'oeuvres evening at Las Brisas or La Lupita, sorry. So I'm not sure what we should try next. We are really making an attempt to try to reach out to the community, but when they don't show up, there's not much else we can do. So we've tried all different avenues. If the council has a preference on which they would prefer to do, we could try that again or continue.
I didn't get a chance to attend the social in the evening, so I don't know how that turned out. So
We had one person
okay,
from the public, so.
are we better off going back in the mornings for the breakfast?
I don't know what schedule wise would work for the council members. Anne Marie, anybody, Mike?
I'm always best.
Okay.
Evenings are pretty rough for me, so I would prefer a morning. But I know that doesn't, the problem is there's no magical time where you can reach citizens.
Everybody.
So I understand that.
Well, Oscar, Manuel?
Mornings would probably be better, but we didn't have anybody show up to those either, so that's mostly city employees.
I think we've only had really one evening that we've tried. I think, I wouldn't mind trying another evening. I don't know if the day of the week had anything to do with it or not. But I think part of the problem is just the promotion of it. I think we're going to have to really over promote to try to get it to where people are responding. So I don't know if there's a better way to get it promoted, but I really feel like that's part of what we're running into, is that people just aren't aware that it's happening.
I know this past summer, we tried to do the community picnic where we did free hot dogs. That seemed to be okay. We had a fairly good turnout, not excellent. We also did the ribbon cutting at the North Gateway Park where we did free hamburgers. We had a fairly decent turnout there, but no real magic bullet to make it work. I know in the past, during Lamar days, we used to do a council breakfast or a pancake breakfast for the community. And I know we did that during the Lamar days. We haven't done that for a while. But as far as breakfast, we could still just continue breakfast for a little bit, or we could try one more evening at another restaurant, or we can mix it.
What if we threw in a virtual social? Because to me, it seems like we get a lot of people watching on Facebook. Now, what if we threw in a virtual social once in a while to see if they can work it into their schedule, and they can be in the comfort of their homes and still have that conversation with council?
We could try that. I know Steve and I, during COVID, we did a town hall meeting virtually. I think we had like 3 or 4 people that were on there asking questions, but for the most part, we had a lot of people watching, but not very much engagement. But we could try it. Maybe with all of us there, that might make a difference. Kind of do a work session, virtual work session, open forum type thing, question and answers.
You do that here?
Yeah.
We'll maybe try a Tuesday or Thursday instead of a Wednesday.
Suggestion was do a Tuesday or a Thursday instead of a Wednesday. That was probably a good idea for our Wednesday night when we did that, because that was an evening that a lot of people were at church services. So I'm not sure. I'm trying to find different ideas, but we need to pin something down so we can move forward.
Well, I'm open to anything right now.
So let's try one more evening, as a dinner meal and try and promote it better. And because we only gave it one, we've been doing the breakfast for a long time. Let's try one more dinner at a different restaurant that possibly.
The only thing that my only suggestion, let's try a dinner in January, but because of Thanksgiving and Christmas, the holidays, I think we're gonna have a difficult time in November and December getting people to come. So if we were to do a breakfast at the first week of December, just do one breakfast in December. So that first Wednesday morning of December. And then in January, we plan for a dinner one again. Would that work for everybody?
Yes.
And that's the only reason why I'm suggesting it is because of the holidays, and
Sure.
we're already that close to Thanksgiving. And when we get into December, people are going to be shopping or all the events that are happening. But if we worked on that first Wednesday morning of December,
December 1st.
is that December 1st?
Yes.
I guess it would be. Are we good with that?
That worked for me.
Mike?
Perfect.
Okay. We will, where would you like to try to decide? Do you want to go to the college again, or do you want to go someplace downtown?
Wherever we are on our rotation.
I don't know what that
So our
was.
last one was McDonald's. Brenda, would our next one be Subway?
Subway would be the next one.
Hey,
Okay. Well, we can do that at Subway on December the 1st, 7 a.m. And Martha, you can get that media out, let everybody know.
That's the Subway open at 7 p.m.
They usually are.
no, I think it's 8:00.
Oh, they usually open when you do it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we'll just need to talk to them and see.
Gotcha.
We'll get that working. Okay, so we'll move on with the agenda here.
We still got two more items.
Two more items.
One, speaking of the calendar and the congestion, schedule or cancel the last council meeting in December because the city's closed on Friday, December 24th, and Monday, the 27th is a holiday. So the council meeting in the past may or may not have been canceled because of the availability of people.
So we usually do the budget
Mhm.
at the end of the year. Any amendments at the end of the year?
So I'll need that first meeting for a public hearing and an adoption of a resolution. So I'll need that. What is, I can't see the calendar from here. When is that
The first meeting,
yeah, like the
that's going to
13th
be
or,
December 13th.
but I'm good. I'll have all the budget stuff out of the way on that first meeting.
On the 13th of
Yeah.
December?
Right.
So that's our first meeting, and then the second one would have been the 27th, right? Okay,
On a holiday.
so do we need it on the 28th at all? Do you feel like we need one?
I don't, but I'm new enough here.
Kristen,
I don't think so. I think last year we
we did skip it
did
last year.
skip it and it worked out okay. We were able to get the payment of bills done a
Okay.
different way. So I think that was the only thing.
You need anything for the last meeting? Okay, so we will
At the present.
skip that on the 28th. Merry Christmas. Skip.
All right. Hey, and the last one is Coffee with Rob. Just for a little while, maybe it's just to introduce myself to the citizens here, but I like once a week, I will pay for coffee and people can come down and talk to me about whatever issues you want. I won't speak for the council, but I can give you a sense of what's going on in the city and any developments since the last council meeting. My wife wants me to make sure she's out there watching. That I'm not saying breakfast every week. I'm just doing coffee every week. So you can come up and it's on me and I want to talk to everybody and you come up, meet me and, we can tell stories too. If you like war stories or anything like that, I can tell you some of those. But anyway, just come out, meet me, and I'll set up a schedule, probably start after Thanksgiving. And I'd like once a week to sit down and talk to everybody. Okay?
Sounds great. Any questions for Rob before we move forward? Seeing none, we will continue on with the agenda. We have a proclamation number 21-04, a proclamation declaring the 16 days between International Day to Eliminate Violence Against Women on November the 25th and International Human Rights Day on December the 10th as the 16 days of activism against gender violence. This is brought in by the Zonta Club of Prowers County. And do you have somebody that would like to read that?
I would be happy to read that.
Okay,
A proclamation declaring the 16 days between International Day to eliminate violence against women on November 25th and International Human Rights Day on December 10th as the 16 days of activism against gender violence. Whereas we citizens of this community recognize the worldwide problems of violence against women occurs even here in Lamar, Colorado. And whereas gender violence is traumatic to the body, mind, and spirit, and can prevent people from being fully active participants at home and in the world. And whereas the health of parents and caregivers is critical to the overall health and well-being of their families and the larger community. And whereas gender violence costs the nation billions of dollars annually in medical expenses, police and court costs, shelters and foster care, sick leave, absenteeism, and non-productivity. And whereas in spite of some progress, we need only to look at our newspapers or watch a television newscast to see the unfortunate truth that gender violence has not yet been eliminated here in Lamar or around the world. And whereas we support efforts of individuals and join organizations such as Zonta Club of Prowers County to raise awareness, stimulate discussion, and advocate for local solutions that will curb gender violence. And whereas these local people join thousands of others from around the world to assert that the right of women and men to be free of violence is a fundamental human right.
okay,
Now therefore,
that'll be my part.
your
So
part.
we'll get the vote first.
I move we approve the proclamation and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve proclamation and authorize the mayor to sign. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Now I can say now therefore, I, Mayor Kirk Crespin, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Lamar, Colorado, do hereby proclaim the 16 days between International Day to Eliminate Violence Against Women on November the 25th and International Human Rights Day on December the 10th as the 16 days of activism against gender violence. During these 16 days, I encourage all citizens are urged to support efforts to end gender violence and to eliminate the detrimental consequences gender violence has on the well-being of our community. I will give you a signature signed copy here.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
For you.
Yeah, you better have something first.
All right. And read it.
You need somebody to take a picture, don't you?
Oh, yeah, if you would like one for your.
It's not ready.
I can take one.
Oh, that would be good too.
Right here by our logo. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the agenda. Need to authorize permission to utilize a section of the city sidewalk for Zonta's Red Sand project. This was also brought in by Zonta Club of Prowers County. Would you like to explain what the Red Sand project is about?
Yeah. I will. On my paper. So the Red Sand Project is a participatory artwork created by a woman called Molly Gotcham that uses interventions and earthwork installations to create opportunities for people to question, connect, and take action against vulnerabilities that can lead to human trafficking and exploitation. So we're hoping that we can use some sections of the city sidewalk and that sand.
It's red sand.
Yes, though that sand would go to fill the cracks in a certain section of sidewalk. And we would have people write information about the kinds of people that are vulnerable to human trafficking and those kinds of exploitation, and what people could do about preventing that and raising awareness about it. So we're asking for 3 sections of the sidewalk, one by the community building, one by this building, one by the county courthouse. And then if we have sand left over, possibly from the railroad depot north, to do these installations. We also are working along with youth organizations at the high school that are also helping with this project. We take pictures and post them on the Red Sand Project website.
Great. What's the council's pleasure?
I make a motion to approve the portions of the sidewalk asked for the Red Sands project.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the use of the portion of the sidewalk as requested. Any final questions?
Do you have a date?
We're kind of hoping that we can get the installations in place before the 16 days. So we're asking for the week before that. So it would be from the 25th till, or the week, I don't, see the date on here. Hang on a second. The 18th through the 25th. And we're asking for a block of time because of weather. You never know when it's going to rain and blow and that sort of stuff. Another thing about the sand is that it's natural stuff. So it's not like the dye is going to hurt anything or anything like that. And you don't really have to clean up after it because the weather will take care of it eventually.
You just put it in the cracks.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll also draw things on the sidewalk with sidewalk chalk.
I don't think you have enough sand for all the cracks.
Probably not. Probably not.
Okay. Any other final questions?
So this is not gonna further bound our cracks on the city sidewalks, is it?
Probably not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Seeing no other questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, next item on the agenda. We have an appointment to the Victim and Witness Assistance Law Enforcement Board. This is the Vail Board. The term for Miss Mary Conley of the Victims Witness Assistance Law Enforcement Board is expired as of August 1st, 2021. The Vail Board did receive and reviewed Mary Conley's application on October the 12th, 2021. So the Vail Board is recommending that we reappoint Miss Mary Conley to the Victims Assistance Board for an additional 3-year term ending August 2024. Chief, did you want to add anything to this or? Perfect.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 21-11-02. It's a resolution adopting financial policy number 101, which is a purchasing policy. This was submitted by Kristen McCray, the city treasurer. This is, and would you like to speak on this at all, Kristen? or-
Sure. I Was charged with developing a wrecked vehicle policy, which was going to add to my purchasing policy that was already adopted by resolution. It was, the last time it was updated was 2008. So I've been looking at it anyway to make some updates to it, make sure that it was following charter. There's a new House bill that is going into effect that our purchasing policies in the state of Colorado will start to be reviewed by DOLA in the state of Colorado to make sure that we are utilizing underutilized businesses. So I just felt like it was the perfect time to get everything updated and include the new section. I've met with Rob, met with some of the staff, did some updates to it. So I was just asking to have it adopted by resolution. It was, and the resolution is amending the 2008 resolution that it was adopted by.
Okay, open it up for this question.
I still take my stance on previous statements that I made. That I would still like to table it and take it to a work session to discuss it amongst council members or possibly, live with the public, with the work session and get some feedback on it and go from there.
Okay. And anybody else?
I move
Yeah.
we approve it.
I feel like that I have not been on city council long enough to fully understand all of this proposal. And that it would require me time to get up to speed on this, a couple of days of study to see what is all actually going on before. So I don't feel like I should vote for it.
So we had a motion to approve it. Were yours a motion or was it just,
I just don't feel comfortable voting yes on this.
okay. All right. So, and Joe wanted to table it. We don't have a second. So do we have any other motions?
I say we take a vote.
That's need a second on.
I'll second on Anne Marie's.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution as suggested. Any final questions before we vote?
Are the guidelines that are set up in here, the dollar amounts that were, the award of the bid amounts, is that in conjunction with other communities?
They sure are. Yeah,
And you said there was an agency that's going to be overseeing.
they're going
that's
to
gonna-
review our policies to make sure we're not being discriminatory against any businesses. They list there's 4 different categories: ethnic, veterans, women-owned businesses, and gender.
And we're following all those.
We
Do we
are,
honestly
we
believe we
are,
are?
we actually are, yes.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that the language was clear and it followed our charter. The amounts that you see were in the old policy. The thresholds were actually what was in the old policy. I didn't change any of that. But I did compare it to other cities. CML provided me, which is Colorado Municipal League. They provided me with, I think I had 5 different samples that I used as guides for this, just to make sure that our policy was in line with other cities. Of course, now, cities and municipalities with a lot bigger budgets, those thresholds go way up.
Or more businesses to be able to utilize.
Well, sure, yeah, and you're gonna see like $250,000 cutoffs instead of our 25 and 50, just because their budgets are a lot bigger than ours. So I tried to keep it in line with budgets that were closer to what we have. And so, yes, none of that changed from the old policy. We did add the rect policy. We also added a change order policy in there for our larger projects and capital projects in that. So we didn't really have any clear language on that in there. So yes, sir, I did, compare it to others. The attorney has reviewed it. He didn't have any issues with it as well. He felt it was lawful. So that's the work that I had done on it prior. So.
Does it show the different bids, the form of orders?
I would like to point out, you said it follows our charter. I'm looking here at the charter that's presented to us here on section 7-5 point M. So we're saying that we're following this right here. It says, the board shall advertise and call for bids on all items to be purchased by bid for the department as prescribed in this charter. Ordinance number 1009 passed at the November 2nd, 1999 election.
And there's also a piece in that charter under my duties.
Under, I'm sorry,
Under
your
the city treasurer's
city
duties,
treasurer duties?
that I am to call for estimates or call for bids. I can't remember exactly the language in it, that it's
Okay.
my job to call for bids and set a policy. And it's also required by my auditor to have this policy in place. He reviews these every year. He'll pick one to review to make sure we're following it. So it also gets reviewed. My policies get reviewed every year by the auditor as well.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution adopting the amended purchase policy.
I have a question.
Okay,
On this paperwork, the highest thing on here is $25,000.
Or greater, I think it says.
I'll say greater on this.
It probably needs to,
It says in excess of 25,000.
right? I think it says over 25,000. Yeah, it says over 25,000.
over
Yes,
25,000
sir.
would be a competitive bid basis.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Right.
Okay, we're good.
Any other final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign.
Nay?
And you'll press your button on what you wanted to do, or if you wanted to abstain or nay, or however you want to do that.
I'll abstain.
We have council members Crampton, Riley,
We didn't get Jerry.
Mhm.
Yes, for me.
Okay,
council members Crampton, Riley, Temez, and Jenkins, and Mayor Crespin voting yes. Councilmember Gonzalez voting no, and Councilmember Bellamy abstaining.
okay. Moving on to the next item on the agenda is item number 12. Purchase replacement refuse truck. This was brought in by Pat Mason with Public Works. Pat, would you like to speak on this?
Sure. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So back in early August of this year, we had a truck that we used as actually a backup crash truck. It was sitting in the yard and just one thing, it caught fire. I guess the battery shorted out. Luckily, I believe one of the fire department actually noticed it driving by and called the department and come to put it out. But turns out there's pretty extensive damage to the truck. We did turn it over to the insurance company. They sent an adjuster down. He spent, I think, over a month trying to figure out what it would take to actually get it back in condition. I think he come to the conclusion after about $65,000 worth of repairs that they decided that it was not going to be worth replacing or repairing. So they more or less offered us $90,000 for the truck. And we had a $5,000 buyback where we could purchase the truck back from the insurance company for $5,000. So I did talk to Margaret. I guess CIRSA doesn't do 100% replacement on trash trucks. They'll do it on ambulances, fire trucks, and street sweepers, but not trash trucks. So anyhow, I did call the insurance company. I spoke to a representative and did talk them into actually increasing the price by $5,000. So they agreed to give us $95,000. And then we purchased the truck back from them for $5,000. And part of the reason why we wanted to purchase that truck back is we just put a $4,000 hydraulic pump on it. So there's $4,000 of it right there. And then the pump's good. It didn't get damaged by the fire. And then, there's lots of parts and items on it that I think we could. The good part about these trucks is they're all the same models. So the parts are all interchangeable. And of course, it's got new tires all the way around it, probably $3,000-$4,000 worth of tires. So anyhow. But my problem is so we've been out looking for trucks and Bill's found, I think, 3 of them. And so we get our paperwork ready and we're gonna bring it to council, and by the time we get ready to go, they call us and say, we sold the truck. So I figured maybe the best thing to do is come before council, get the pre-approval of a dollar amount that we could spend, and that way, if we find something that'll work and fits what we need, we can just tell them we'll take it. So, and I talked to Kristen a little bit, we were talking about the capital budget, and sanitation actually had some funding in it that was not expended this year. And we changed some things around that we'd done in there and decided to not use that money, but what I'd like to do is take 40,000 of that funding and actually add it to this 90,000 the insurance company paid, and get a truck up to $130,000. So
Okay. What is the council's pleasure?
I got a question. Kat, on this here, on the MSR price, on this page that we got here, is that what we're looking at for, the $208,000 truck? Around that price right there?
Well, I think
And then offsetting with that 130?
I think what it retailed at the bottom of that, we're looking at the retail line for Blue Book on it. It was 133,000, I believe.
So this was our truck that caught fire.
That was a refuse truck, a trash truck. Yeah. It was a Mack LEU model with a Scorpion trash body in it. Yeah, I think the last page here, if you look on it, I think there's a column there where you can't.
What are some figures are we, looking at, since you guys have been talking to, different vendors on prices of trucks like that? I mean, what are we looking at on a price on one of them boogers?
I mean, you can, depending on what condition, you can find trucks right now for $40,000-$50,000, but there's not much left of them. So what I was trying to do is get back to comparable to the truck that actually caught fire. That, it was a total loss now. I wanted to replace it with something that's comparable in year and mileage and.
Which is understandable. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, some dependability to it. So, but I'm pretty confident from what Bill had found a few times, I think we could easily, I don't know that we'll need to spend the whole 130,000. I don't actually think we will, but
That we'll find something for the 130.
yeah, I think so.
Oh, that would be great.
It wouldn't go over that. But if I could get council's permission to go up to 130, expend the 40,000 and the additional funding that's left over in capital, then I think we could easily get a truck found.
I like that idea.
One question I didn't previously ask you is how long ago was those trucks that you had found? And what were the price ranges of those that sold out?
So the last truck was actually probably a week and a half ago, and it was right at 90,000. And it would have been a good fit. Actually, I probably could have got that one. But by the time we went to put the wheels in motion to get it here, they called back and said that truck's gone. So, but I think, I mean, I could potentially find one for 90, but there's also some that we've found that have been around 110, 120, 125.
So what's a new truck cost that's in that area, what that truck did?
Yeah. So that particular truck, I think the last truck we bought was around $280,000 new. Of course, now we've got steel prices that have, almost over doubled. So I'm
We had a
sure we're
hard time
over
getting it built.
300,000 plus. I'm sure now if we were to order one today. So,
Are you sure 130 is going to be enough to get what we want? For what
I'm
you need, let's put it that way.
I'm pretty confident for what we need, we could do that. I had thought about coming, maybe just asking for a new truck and take one of the trucks we're currently using and make it the backup. But the issue I've got right now also is that by the time they can get that truck built, we're 6-8 months down the road. So, I mean, we're chewing fingernails every day, hoping that these two trucks that we're running full time, nothing happens to them. Cause then I'm trying to do 2 routes, working one truck 24 hours around the clock, trying to keep trash picked up. So, but that thought had crossed my mind. I thought, well, that'd be one way is just the new truck. I think right now.
So when you do these kind of deals, I know it's not going to be sitting over here at Grenada where we're going to buy a truck at. How are we going to know that we're getting a truck that's what you want?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, buying off the internet or what have you, it shows up on a truck
Yeah.
and there's no tires on it. We just got scammed.
Right. Well, I'm hoping the people that we're actually going through are like, we've got Mac dealer here in actually it's Fountain, I believe. And so, I mean, there's some warranty. We're gonna want some kind of warranty on, even though it's a used truck, we're gonna want some kind of reassurance that, even if it's a 30-day warranty or, 6-month deal or so many miles or something, I mean, we're gonna look for something like that. So we don't, we're not gonna go clear to Florida sight or, buy something out of Florida sight unseen, no warranty. And
But you'll buy from a actual dealer, not from
Yes.
Craigslist or
No,
nothing
we're-
like
we're
that,
actually-
obviously. So it'll be a
yeah,
dealer that can give you a warranty that has reviewed them and checked them, and we can
yeah.
do.
Ferris Machines is another example out of Colorado Springs. They're looking right now for us too, and they found a couple here and there, so.
Okay, any other questions? What's the council's pleasure?
I move we approve up to 40,000 in addition to the 90 that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the use of $40,000 along with the 90,000 to purchase. Any final questions?
You're gonna buy the old one back?
Yeah, we've actually already purchased it back, so.
Any others? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Next item on the agenda is Colorado Commercial Lease Agreement. Would you like to speak on this?
Well, I mean, I think this is something that has entered fairly recently in the works, and some discussions been going around. I know that there were a couple of options that we talked about, and you might have some more information to give on this one.
So this is for, we have a business, Allen Aviation LLC, who is working out of their home right now, or they're just starting out. It's a brand new business. They're needing some shop space, and they would like to use a hangar or go in conjunction with our maintenance shop there at the airport. Seeing that they're new, they are wanting to see if we can allow them some leeway for use of the garage while they get established. So they had asked, and we had discussed the possibility of a 6-month lease agreement for just a portion of the open hangar. Is that the right one? The open hangar?
Actually, this is the actual working hangar.
The working hangar? Okay.
Yeah.
And we have talked to Eric McSwan, who is our AP mechanic out there. And he has blocked off an area that he feels would be appropriate for Mr. Allen to do his business out of. It wouldn't affect our business as far as mechanic work, but it would give us the opportunity to try to help incubate or help build a new business at the airport. So this is one of those things where we're trying to help a new business get on their feet. And we're looking at just giving them a 6-month lease at no cost on this 20 by 50 foot area so they can do their work. But Allen Aviation is what they would do is aviation electronic services. So they work on radios and the digital equipment and all of that. So we would just be allowing them the 6 months. After that, we would look at a actual contract with the lease term with payments. But this would allow them to start, get their license, get all of their requirements, their insurance, and we would require them the insurance that is needed to run a business and the certificates as well that would be needed. Is that right?
That's correct. I think where he's at in the process right now, the FAA's came down and done the inspection of our facility, and they're basically approving everything. But before he can actually start doing any work, he has to have a signed agreement between him and the city of Lamar, allowing him to use that space. So I agree with Kirk. I think one of the things we were most concerned about, not so much with getting rent over the next 6 months, but that he have some sort of insurance naming the city as additional insured while he's actually working in our facility. So at a minimum, he would have to provide some sort of proof to us that he's got insurance and we're listed as additional insured. And then like Kirk says, in 6 months, we can go back and negotiate a monthly rental fee or whatever we want to do.
Matt, I've got a question if you don't mind. On the insurance part there, it says $1 million in coverage. Let's say, God forbid, that the building or something catch fire over there. Is that gonna be enough to replace that building if something were to happen over there?
I mean, I think for that building, it should be enough.
Adequate enough to replace it?
Yeah, that building itself's not entirely huge, so.
Now, after the 6-month lease and we go back and we start visiting about contracts, and then he starts getting into his expenses with utilities. Is there a separate meter over there to?
There wouldn't really be a separate meter, but I don't know if we could do a percentage based off of space used or something, measure the entire building. I think he was wanting to use about 1,600 foot of it. And if I had to guess, that's probably a 6,000 square foot building, so.
And that was also part of the, doing the 6 months trial with no cost. So that way we could actually look at utility bills, see if there was a
An
difference
idea
in
of what's
cost.
being used.
Yeah, so over the 6 months, we can get all of that data and find out what is it going to do to that, that service, what kind of utilities may it be. So when we go to renegotiate that lease agreement, we have more data to say, this is what's going to be.
I understand. I'm all for him for opening up and giving him some incentive to open up and operate and.
I have a question, Pat. What about an aircraft that's being inspected in that hangar and there's something that happens? Is his insurance going to cover that aircraft? Let's say we're working on somebody's aircraft that's not belong to, an individual. They're going to want their aircraft replaced.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted it listed clearly on there. The city would be additional insured on that policy, so that whether the $1 million covers the building and a plane that was in there, and I'll leave it to the council's discretion if you feel like that needs to be higher.
So is the insurance going to be both insurance? So is it going to be a double payout? Is the city's insurance going to pay out also? Let's say we have a total loss of the building and a, $450,000 aircraft in there.
No, it would be based upon, they would look at where did it originate at? If it originated from his department, electrical fire, and it burnt down the building and burnt down the other planes, then his insurance would be liable for all of that. If it was due to electrical fire because of our building and it burnt down his planes and all the others, then it would be our insurance, so we cover that. So it just depends on where the source of the fire or source of the damage would be. If our snowplow ran into the building and knocked out a few planes, of course, that's ours. So that's what it's going to be based upon, is what was the source of the damage. And for our hangars, we have multiple hangars in our, like 5 or 6 in the hangars, is that right, in a row? And we do ask for $1 million, isn't it $1 million for each one? And the reason why we do that is if one of the airplanes is leaking fuel and it blows up and catches all the others, they're liable for all of that. So we're using the same limits and the same liability requests for this business as we would for that. And that's why we were trying to use that dollar amount. So if he decided to do a hangar in the future, we could use that same insurance, but I don't know if that helps. Did that answer?
Lance, do you have any comments about this?
Yeah, a couple things. One, I would like an opportunity to review this, so I'd ask that we approve it if you approve it, on my approval of it. Second, I guess I noticed just in my brief look at it tonight that it didn't have an amount, and you guys have stated as much, that there's no amount for the rent. One thing that we need in every agreement is consideration, and a lack of payment, even if it's a minor payment, it wouldn't be binding contract without the consideration. So we need that at least some amount in there to make this a binding agreement. Otherwise, I would like at least an opportunity to review the rest of the contract and spend some time with it to be sure that it's covering everything we need.
So we could do $1 a month to cover that requirement. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we just need an amount in there that's gonna, what they call consideration for an agreement in order to make that binding.
Okay. All right, what's the council's pleasure?
I make a motion, we approve the rent of $5 a month.
$5 a month?
After Lance is approved.
With Lance's approval.
Yeah.
For 6-month term.
for the 6-month term.
Second.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to approve the 6-month lease agreement at $5 per month with the city attorney's approval for the 6-month period.
Yes.
Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Next item on the agenda is to accept an offer from the American Rescue Plan grant for the Southeast Colorado Regional Airport. Pat?
So a little while back, I brought this very grant application to council for approval. We did apply for it. Now, Thursday, I did receive notification that they have offered the grant pending approval of, or the mayor's signature, the attorney's signature on it. So basically, I'm asking for a motion to approve the mayor and city attorney's signature on the American Rescue Plan Act grant in the amount of $32,000. And it's similar to the other grants that we've gotten, the COVID relief grants, where it can be used for debt service and just general, like utility costs, general operating costs.
Yeah, we did. We were able to pay the utilities in 2020 with the first grant.
Is this the one where we have to say we approve the grant agreement
Yes,
as
sir.
well?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have any idea what you'll be using the funds for this time?
I would think the same thing. Yes. Because they kind of listed, things that you can use it for, and utilities. Our utilities run about 32,000, or they were. They're probably more this year, but
So we'll use it for utilities.
yeah.
Make a motion to approve the mayor and city attorney to sign for the American Rescue Plan Act grant.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you.
So the next item on the agenda is to consider potential purchase of property. I don't have copies of the actual purchase agreement. This was a purchase agreement that Lance had submitted and created for our previous purchase. A few months back, the city purchased 1102 North Main Street, which is the WHO Blue Building. We had purchased that for $250,000 with the intent of working with a developer who is looking at opening a business in Lamar. So now that we have worked with this developer further and it's continuing to progress, the one thing that is holding us up on doing the final purchase agreement is they need us to purchase, they would like to have us purchase 2 20-foot parcels of land that's adjacent to the 1002 North Main Street. And the intent of purchasing those 2 20-foot parcel pieces of land would give them the actual ability to do the 2 drive-throughs for the fast food service that they are looking at. Once we have these 2 purchased, we would be able to move on to the next step, which would be having the developer actually purchase the land back from the city at our cost. Since I don't have this information here in front of you, we can suggest to table this until the next meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, so, but I did want to at least give this to you and let you know what we were working on. So we will postpone that until the next meeting. And with that said, are there any other miscellaneous items? Oh, vote to table the item. We have a motion. Second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Last item is miscellaneous. So are there any miscellaneous items that we need to go over?
Can you hear me?
There is one item like I'd like to touch base on. Of course, as we all know, this past week, the election happened. And with the election, the marijuana was approved for the city to open dispensaries in the city limits. I just wanted to reiterate, as I stated before, that, before the election happened, we as a council need to still do the ordinances. We need to rezone areas. We have to pick out which areas we can and cannot have that. This is going to be an ongoing process that'll take months. And we said a time frame of 12 months. And we are very serious about that it will be 12 months. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because there's been a lot of speculation in the community. A lot of individuals and developers who are trying to buy property in hopes of opening a dispensary. We have not determined how many dispensaries. We haven't determined where the dispensaries would be. We haven't determined what any of the ordinances are going to look like. So I'm strongly encouraging these developers to really think about this before they make those investments, because it is your risk that if you were to open this up or buy a property downtown in Main Street and invest $1 million onto that, it's your risk because we may not want it on Main Street. Chances are we may not have it on Main Street. My personal opinion is I don't want it on Main Street. But, that's something that the council needs to discuss and we need to decide, and we have not had the opportunity to do that. So I'm really strongly encouraging these people that are working on this project for the future to slow down, be patient, don't speculate. If they have questions, they're welcome to call and ask. But, we do have a lot of steps between now and the time that you can get the licenses and do the developments and things of that nature. As we go through this process in the next upcoming months, we have a lot of questions that we need to have asked. We have a lot of clarifications we need to make as far as the election and what needs to happen next. So I just want everybody to slow down and realize that the council will address these things as we go. We have full of every intent to include public opinion, include public forums, things of that nature to get some opinion into this so that it's not a decision just for the council to make or for the mayor to make. So I just want to reiterate that. Is there anybody want to add to that, or is that fair to say? Are you good with that, council?
Sounds good to me.
I agree with you.
Okay. All right. Well, I just heard some comments on the radio this morning about, certain areas where we need to have it and certain things that we need to be doing. And that's not for those discussions to have. That's something the council will need to work on and decide, and we'll get the opinion of the public as we're doing that. But we have a long ways to go before that happens. So please be patient with us. We will involve you as much as we can, and we'll move forward from there. Aside from that, just need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimous. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the